Jackson Hospital. Today we welcome from Henry Ford Jackson Hospital Trauma Injury Prevention Coordinator, Katie Watson. Hi, Katie.
Hi.
Nice to see you.
Yes, you as well. Thanks for having me today.
Thanks for coming in on a Monday.
Yes.
Yeah, and a holiday too. Mm-hmm. Bummer.
Yeah.
Did you have to get out of your pajamas for today?
Well, I got out of them early. I still had to get my son around to go to his grandma's. So.
Right. Yeah, it turns out I never thought about it. We had, Amy Sloop. She had to get out of her pajamas. So yeah, thanks for being with us. And for those of you still in your pajamas, lucky you. I hope you're still cozy and warm and cozy. Well, one of the things that surprised me is the title of your job is, I didn't know we had a trauma injury prevention coordinator. What is that?
Yes, so it's actually a very unique and rewarding role. My role is to go into the community and provide education programs focused on injury and safety based on the types of injured patients that we treat at our hospital. So most of what we see is falls, primarily older adult falls, and motor vehicle crashes. So and that includes patients, on motorcycles, e-bikes and e-scooters, bicyclists, and pedestrians.
So that's trauma. When you think about, a really bad thing that could happen to somebody, that's trauma.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Does things like heart attacks and strokes, does that fit into trauma?
Sometimes, because sometimes, people kind of come in with both. So, somebody might go into cardiac arrest after, something like a blunt force event, like a motor vehicle crash, or even, something like a stroke or a heart attack might happen, and then they also get injured when those things occur.
So preventing trauma, that's going to be hard.
Yes, it is. It is. That's a lot of behavior change. So you can't necessarily do that, but we can give the information and education for people.
Yeah, I think last week we talked about safety and on Wellness Wednesday, walking like a penguin in weather like this.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that'll prevent a fall.
Definitely.
I was talking to somebody, they had to fly to Fort Myers to take care of their dad because he fell, and he's an older gentleman, and it does become just your fall risk.
Yeah.
I think last time I was at the hospital, I think they put a sign out my door, fall risk.
Yes, it happens a lot. Definitely want to prevent those in the hospital as well.
So what is it about aging that makes us more susceptible to falling?
Some of it's things that maybe we can't change, but some of it is, if we can strengthen our muscles and bones and everything, we can become a little less fragile than we are as we age. But a lot of it is, we become more fragile as we age, so we could get more severe injuries in motor vehicle crashes and even something simple as a fall from standing.
Yeah, we think we can do what we used to be able to do, but
Yeah.
Now you have a program that sounds pretty cool. It's called Stop the Bleed. For those of us not familiar with what that is, tell us about the program and why it's so important. Yeah,
it was actually developed by the American College of Surgeons Committee on Trauma, and that's the organization that verifies us as a trauma center. It's a rigorous process we go through every few years. And it's also joined with the U.S. Department of Defense, and it's based on military and emergency medical services, field care, and research. So that's kind of how it came about. But the reason why is because bleeding is actually one of the #1 reasons that people could die after an injury. You can lose enough blood in as little as 3 to 5 minutes to where we lose our life, go into shock and or lose our life. So in order to have somebody there to respond to that quickly before emergency medical services arrive is very important.
Yeah, we were talking about drama shows on TV. We see people, trying to save someone who's bleeding. A lot of times, what they show is not
right.
Not right. So, can you give us some examples of real life situations where Stop the Bleed training could save a life?
Yes, a lot of times people think of some of the violence incidents and things that happen around the country or even on those shows, but a lot of times it's everyday stuff. There's a lot of sharp things at home, right? things at work. You know, if you think of it here in Jackson County, we have a lot of machine shops and farms where people are working with, you know, big, sharp, heavy machinery. They could get injured. And even just everyday or recreational sports. You know, we have 4 seasons here in Michigan, thankfully, but we have boating, right? We have snowmobiling, ATV riders. People get injured in all of those, you know, different activities they participate in.
Yes, we live in a community that's not boring. There's a lot of danger.
Exactly.
Yes, just stepping
It's
out.
great to have those fun things, but you got to think first and, you know, be prepared to prevent the injuries.
Now, Stop the Bleed. Is this class strictly about bleeding?
Yes, strictly about bleeding control after an injury.
All right. So you've got these classes that they're free. Anyone
Yes.
can welcome. You don't need any medical training to be in the class?
No, it's actually, so it's about an hour-long class where the beginning starts with an instructional presentation. We talk about the importance of bleeding control and how severe situations can be, and also how to identify when bleeding is life-threatening. And then after that, we go over with an instructor and each participant how to do the hands-on skills so that they feel safe and comfortable doing those. And that's done with a mannequin training limb, and there are not any, you know, fake blood or any fluids like that anyone needs to worry about.
So I wonder, you know, in watching a situation like a drama show, they're bleeding profusely,
Yeah.
and people are putting pressure or wrapping a towel or a shirt on the wound to keep the blood from coming out of the body. That actually works.
Yeah,
That's what people need to be not afraid to do.
exactly, yes.
And the time, so like we see situations where there's certain arteries that might be affected and they bleed a lot more.
Yes.
So there's a limited amount of time that someone has to save a life in certain situations.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why we say, you know, those are the types of situations where it could be within 3 to 5 minutes.
Wow.
And if you think about it, you know, bystanders are usually who's going to be there first, right? It's going to take some time depending on where you're at, you know, if you're out in the country, in the city, for emergency, you know, responders to get there. So we need everyday people to be able to respond and help keep someone alive until those emergency medical services arrive.
Now you're a nurse, a BSN, RN, and so we're not giving medical advice on the show. But in addition to pressure, there's other things like tourniquets. Are tourniquets still a thing?
Yes, tourniquets are meant to only be used on limbs, and that's one thing that's really important to take the class, because we go through step by step how to put that on, you know, and when to put it on, obviously only on the limb, and where on the body it needs to go.
Yeah, and there's stories people hear, oh, they lost their foot because no blood got to it, and but you know, losing your life and losing your foot, I mean,
it becomes a life over limb situation.
Yeah.
And we do talk about a lot of times if somebody does lose a limb, it's more because of however they got injured, right? Whatever caused the injury versus, you know, a bystander putting a tourniquet on.
So they shouldn't be nervous if they've never had any hands-on medical training.
No.
No.
It's, like I said, the instructor, I'm always there, I'm one of them, and then we have other instructors to help guide each person through the hands-on training.
Now you have a beautiful new education facility at the Jackson YMCA.
Yeah.
And that's where you're doing it?
Yeah, and that's, I've been wanting to do this, bring this to the community for quite a while. It was just kind of finding a place that was easy for people to get to, trying to get those people that, you know, might work until that 4:30, 5 o'clock hour to be able to kind of get a quick class in. And not have to get all the way into the hospital to try to navigate to find a training room
Right.
there.
Where do I park?
This is easier access for our community.
And this lasts how long? 1 hour?
Yep, 1 hour. Yep.
1 day, 1 hour? 1 day, 1 hour, we're
Yeah.
ready to go?
Yeah. Well, and it actually, it's recurring, so if somebody wants to come every month, they can. It's the third Thursday of every month.
Who
this
is
year.
the perfect candidate to take this class?
Pretty much everyone. Anyone that, you know, I mean, it can be taught to children too. Anyone that can physically put pressure on a wound. I mean, you never know. Emergencies can happen at any time. So just being prepared to respond in that way. We actually tell people also, sometimes people are like, you know, I'm not touching blood or anything like that. But even if you know the skills, you can be the person that, you know, maybe calls 911 and then also helps instruct somebody else that maybe hasn't learned the skills. You can tell someone how to stop the bleed. if you're not comfortable doing it the hands-on yourself.
And really, you don't have to do any triage. You know if there is blood coming out of the person, that's the problem.
Yes, you've got to stop the bleeding. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you don't need to know anything more. There's blood coming out of the person.
Right.
You gotta stop it.
Yes, yeah. Call
Yeah.
911. Get them on the way and stop the bleeding.
Yeah, call 911.
Yeah.
Always. When in doubt, you never. I guess if in doubt, you call, no
Yeah.
matter what. Have you had situations where you've done this class before and you hear back that, oh my gosh, Katie, you helped me save someone's life?
Not necessarily any of the courses that I've taught, but I communicate with all the injury prevention coordinators throughout the state from all the other trauma hospitals, and they have had people that, even like a teacher on her off day, her husband's out chopping wood, and she ended up saving her husband's life by bringing a tourniquet out and stopping his bleeding.
And I think you can help yourself too. I recall when I was a child, I wasn't chopping wood, I was just chopping random things in the woods, and I missed.
Yeah.
And I swung a hatchet into my leg.
Oh.
Yeah. No, and I was out there in the woods all by myself. And I don't recall what I did. I probably cried and ran home, but you could do that to yourself where knowing the things you're teaching and Stop the Bleed, you could help yourself, right?
Yes, exactly. And then also, it might empower people to maybe make up their own little kit. You might have a first aid kit, but you might need to add a few more things to make that also a bleeding control kit, where in the event of an emergency, you can help yourself or someone else. When you said that, it kind of made me think of hunting season and people out hunting, and a lot of times they're out by themselves, and if you have all of the skills necessary and the supplies, you can save your own life or someone else's if you needed to.
Yeah, as Dr. Lazara has told
Yes.
us many times, it's not heart attacks while you're hunting that kills people. It's stuff like that.
Exactly.
Awesome. So sign up and you can be, what's the youngest age?
I mean, as long as they can physically, even if someone, wanted to come to the class and they didn't have childcare, right? I mean, your 5-year-old or 4-year-old can sit in the class and they might have fun, putting their hands on the mannequin too, and learning the skill also. We take the equipment to some community health fairs as well. One of the ones I think about is Onondaga Fire Department, and there's kids of all ages that come through there and love to learn the skill. So really
Awesome.
anybody.
Well, it sounds like it really is for everyone.
Yeah.
Stop the Bleed. You can just show up. Do you need to sign up? You want people
There
to
is
register?
a sign up,
Okay.
yes. We can take walk-ins as well. The space is kind of small, so maybe if you look at the sign up and there's only 5 spaces left, probably sign up versus just show up. But we're not going to turn anybody away.
Cool. Well, I'm really glad you're doing this. I think I might come over. I'm interested.
I was actually
Yeah.
going to say, you should come check it out.
I should. Everyone should come. Lucas, do you
Yeah.
want to go over? Yeah, we'll go over. Yeah. All right. Stop the Bleed.
Yes.
Well, thanks for being on Wellness Wednesday.
Thank you. I
On
appreciate you having me. On
Wellness-
Monday.
on Monday. Wellness Wednesday, special Monday edition, presented by Henry Ford Jackson Hospital. Thanks to BSN RN Trauma Injury Prevention Coordinator, Katie Watson. Lots more to come on the show today. We continue our Meet the